Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers? Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. It's good to have you here, the start of a new week. It's Monday, December 16th. I'm going to do some updates to stay current with the Luigi Mangione case. But just a heads up, starting later this week, I am going to do a big backstory on a local case that's going to trial next month. It's going to be tried about 10 minutes from my house. It got some national attention. It's dubbed the Rose Petal murder. Lots of twists and turns in that one. Crazy case. So look for that. Maybe about Wednesday is when I'm going to start it. It goes to trial in mid-January, but I want to go ahead and get the backstory in and get you guys familiar. I'm also trying to find out if any of the networks are going to be live streaming this trial. I'll let you know. So what's going on with Luigi Mangione? Nothing major has happened, but let's stay current with some of the things we've learned over the weekend. I did see a filing that he has a preliminary hearing, which is set for December 23rd at 9 a.m. That's in Pennsylvania for the charges there. I'm not sure if he waives extradition and goes to New York, how that would play out, but we'll keep an eye on it. Just a reminder, those charges are for forgery, firearms not to be carried without a license, and tampering with records. The San Francisco Police Department reached out to the FBI on December 5th, the day after the shooting. They recognized that the photo of the suspect could possibly be their missing person there in California. If you remember, Luigi's mom reported him missing on November 18th after he cut contact with his family for quite some time. Now, detectives did talk to Luigi's mom the day before he was arrested. They were following up on the tip from the San Francisco police based on Luigi's physical appearance. She said the person in the photos that were released to the public could be her son. He has a new attorney for those New York charges, Karen Agnifilio. She served as the second in charge in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office between 2014 and 2021. She prosecuted serious violent crimes, including those involving mental health. A source told CNN she knows every corridor, every judge, every clerk in the courthouse. She's got as much experience as any human being, especially in the state court. Well, if her name sounds familiar, it's because her husband, Mark Agnifilio, is representing Diddy. Sources say the notebook found on Luigi's person when he was arrested goes back to mid-2024. Some of the writings are what he did on a particular day, how he was feeling, him wanting to focus on his health and find his purpose. The writings are said to be diary style. They are also said to show a deterioration in his thinking and his state of mind. Now, he's set for a hearing on December 30th for the petitions of a writ of habeas corpus and imposition of bail. The judge said they had 14 days to file this, and just to put it simply, the filing puts the burden of proof on law enforcement detaining him to justify his detention. His attorney filed this on December 12th, and let's just go through the document. It says he was arrested on December 9th in Blair County, Pennsylvania, and charged with various offenses. He is also the subject of a criminal complaint filed on December 10th. He has an arrest warrant in New York and alleges his incarceration at the state correctional institution is illegal and unlawful, and that the Commonwealth has not proven that Luigi was present in New York at the time of the commission of the offense charged as required by the Uniform Criminal Extradition Act. They have not proven sufficient probable cause exists, establishing that the defendant committed the offense charged in New York, and they've not proven the defendant is a fugitive from New York. All the foregoing requirements must be met under the Uniform Criminal Extradition Act, and they have not been met at this time. The defendant must be released and discharged from custody, and all proceedings instituted by the Commonwealth relative to extradition must be dismissed with prejudice. With prejudice means can't be charged again for those crimes. No evidence has been presented that the offense charged under the arrest warrant filed in criminal court in New York is punishable by death or life imprisonment under the laws of the state which it was alleged to have been committed. The defendant is entitled to bail under the Uniform Criminal Act. They end by saying that the defendant reserves the right to file and amend and or file a supplemental petition upon receipt of additional information and or a governor's warrant. So they're asking that Luigi be discharged and also dismiss the extradition instituted by the Commonwealth with prejudice, or allow him bail by bond with sufficient sureties, or permit the petitioner to file an amended or supplemental petition or any other relief deemed appropriate. This is all formalities. He's not going to be released on bond, but his lawyer is doing his job. As far as the investigation, they've executed as many as 3 search warrants, including 2 for the backpack found in Central Park, as well as the burner phone found on the path that he fled. Sources told CNN that they have a 3-page handwritten letter with a claim of responsibility, as well as that spiral notebook that allegedly points to Luigi's involvement in the murder of Brian Thompson. We know that police have said they've matched the shell casings to the scene to the weapon found on Luigi's person, and they've matched fingerprints on a water bottle and a power bar to Luigi. But as far as the casings being a match, his attorney said that those 2 sciences in and of themselves have come under some criticism in the past relative to their credibility, their truthfulness, their accuracy, however you want to do it. The office of the New York governor is meeting with around 200 business leaders and law enforcement this week to talk about safety in the wake of the shooting. Sources told CNN the state of New York may even set up a hotline for executives to call if they're concerned about security or if they receive threats. Obviously, authorities are concerned there could be copycats in the wake of the shooting. Now, his charges could possibly be upgraded to first-degree murder in New York if prosecutors find any evidence he had intent to commit terrorism by targeting other executives. The law is narrow there with first-degree murder. We've talked about this on past episodes. Typically, it's reserved for the killing of a police officer, first responder, somebody who's going to be a witness in a trial, murder for hire, or intent to commit terrorism. He's currently charged with second-degree murder, and the penalty for that in New York is 15 to life. First degree would be 20 to life. There could also be a way for federal charges in that prosecutors could argue Luigi traveled across state lines to commit an act of violence. The possible penalties for that are mandatory life without parole or even the death penalty, even though New York did away with the death penalty. New York Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch gave insight into how the investigation went. They looked at cameras in the area and also got footage through the NYPD's domain awareness system that gives cops real-time access to police cameras, private security cameras, as well as license plate readers around the city. Using all of those helped them to build a timeline of Luigi's whereabouts before and after the shooting. From the point he got into New York City by bus, checking into the hostel, to the footage of him fleeing the scene. She also had to make the call of whether they should release the photos that they had, risking tipping him off that they were catching up to him. In knowing that he left the city, she decided to release the photos in the hopes somebody would know who he was. She said, "We had reason to believe he left New York City, and I wanted to get that photo out to a national audience." And the New York City Police Chief, Joseph Kenney, agreed. We know that worked because he was identified by a member of the public at McDonald's. We also know he was never a client of United Healthcare, but the alleged manifesto does mention the company was the 5th largest corporation in the country, as well as the largest healthcare company of them all, and that could be why Brian Thompson was targeted. There has been a defense fund for Luigi set up, which is raised as of yesterday over $115,000. His defense team, however, has not said if they will accept that money. And we know his defense attorney has been retained because he said he had, although he did not name who retained him. That's the updates so far today. If anything new comes up, I'll either do a YouTube short or even a small episode. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a good rest of your afternoon. We will see you soon.